Well, hello to everybody. I pray that today has been a excellent day for you. We have a very interesting group of topics that we want to talk about on today. And so I'm going to ask that each and every individual that you make sure that you um, go ahead and share, subscribe, and like for everything that we're doing, regardless of um, what platform you are on. And right now, we are on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. And so, for wherever you are, just make sure that you send that out. We're going to be talking about quite a few things. So, hello to everybody. And let's have a very good conversation about several different things. We're going to be talking about Tyler Perry, at the sale of BET, um, Byron Allen. We'll talk about capitalism. After that, we'll talk about um, UFOs and something happening in North Carolina with UFOs. And then we will talk a little bit about some eschatology of how all of this merges together. And so, very interesting conversation, very interesting talk. So let's make sure that we share and like, and please find as many people as you can to subscribe so that we can go ahead and we are pushing towards. We've got about 600 subscribers now. We're pushing towards that 700 to 750 mark, and so let's do that. All right. So for each and every individual, let's talk about first something that has transpired or what was supposed to transpire, and then something happened. Let's try to figure out what that is. So, BET uh, was for sale. For those of you all that are um, that don't know, I think everybody knows BET, but let's give just a little bit of history. BET was started in 1980, and it was started by Robert and Sheila Johnson. He actually created BET in his house in Washington, in his basement. He had borrowed some money, about $500,000. He got a loan from a guy by the name of John Malone, and he built this from his basement into a major network. And so, and the focus was to have a television network, a major television network for Black America. So that was his focus. In 1990, the network became the first Black controlled television company listed on the New York Stock Exchange. And he sold it. He sold it in 2000 to Viacom for $3 billion. I'll say that again. He sold it, and this is Robert and Sheila Johnson. They sold it to Viacom for $3 billion in the year 2000. And he maintained being the CEO to run it for about 6 years before he ended up leaving. And Viacom is owned by Paramount Global. And Paramount is the one that was selling this. Now, there was, and you could probably pull up on Entertainment Tonight, there was an interview. And in that interview, they asked him, hey, there's rumors out about, and this is, they're doing an interview with Tyler Perry. And so they said, there's rumors out about you wanting to buy BET, and Tyler Perry emphatically said, it's not a rumor. It's something that I would like to do. And you need to see that. And you can pull that up on YouTube, and you can see what that is. What we're talking about, for those of you that are coming on, what we're talking about is Tyler Perry and the purchase or almost purchase of BET. So from what I gather, and all of my information, I always tell people that when I'm talking about something, there's certain places that my information come from. So The Root published a article in August 19th, 2023, and it talked about how the sale then did not go through. This is a Tyler Perry and BET sale. And they were selling it for $2 billion. And Tyler Perry had decided that he was going to buy it. Now, for those that don't know, Tyler Perry already owns, he has a 25% stake in BET, but he was trying to get a majority stakeholder in BET. So he needed to buy that from Viacom, who bought it actually from Robert Johnson. So this is what takes place. They changed the price, to my understanding, from $2 to $3 billion. And Tyler Perry does not want to pay the $3 billion. Now, I do believe that a collaboration could have been reached between him and Byron Allen. That is kind of an in the air situation. So let me tell you the three black men that were talking about purchasing this. And that was Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry has and I'm going to get into everybody's business for a second. Tyler Perry has a public net worth of $1 billion. And you have Sean Combs, who has a public net worth of $1 billion. You have Byron Allen, who has a net worth of between $800 million and $1 billion. Now, in my opinion, I don't have any details of this, but in my opinion, these gentlemen are worth much more than what it is being reported that they're worth. And I'll tell you why. Because a good business person does not lock everything in just one set area. So you have Tyler Perry Studios that has its own net worth. You have Tyler Perry, he has its own net worth. And then more than likely, Tyler Perry has proven to be an excellent businessman. So more than likely, he has probably a trust or something that a great majority of money is in. How then, and this is my reasoning for that. If he only has a net worth of $1 billion, and let's say Tyler Perry Studios is worth $400 million, how then would he be able to then make a bid for $2 billion if he did not have money somewhere else? So more than likely, he has some money somewhere else. But I thought that it was phenomenal. Tyler Perry made a statement in that interview with Entertainment Tonight. He said that when Bob Johnson first went to sell it, that there was no one black that was able to buy it. And now you have more than just one black individual that is able to buy Black Entertainment Television, or BET. So this is what happens. Paramount has shifted that price to $3 billion. Byron Scott, and Byron Scott started off as a comedian, and now he is a media mogul. Byron Scott made the bid of $3 billion to buy BET from Paramount, and Paramount did not want to sell it to Byron Scott. Now, this is in, I believe, Business News. And you can pull all of this up, and I may have a way of pulling it up right now. So anyway, it's right there in Business News, and yet Paramount did not want to sell it to Byron Scott. Now you can find this in The Root. It was published on August 19th, 2023, as well as Business News, August 19th, 2023. All right. And so they said that now they don't want to sell it. Well, that's kind of questionable. If it is for sale, and there is, and you can see right there, it says BET sell controversy leads to questions about network's true value. All right. So when you look at this, what you are finding here is that now there is a major question of why then, if the money is there, with definitely with these three men, and I'm quite sure these three men would not mind coming together in order to make the deal happen. So if the sale is there for these three men, why then would they not want to sell it to these three men, if in turn, or one of these three men, if in turn money was not the issue? If you have the money there, the $3 billion is there, then why wouldn't you want to sell it? And so now this is a major question that you have with Paramount. And you can, and this is the root. You can pull this up. And so Paramount then said they don't want to sell it anymore. Well, the only people that was coming to the front to buy it was these three men. All right. And so now there is question out there of why. Now, Tyler Perry made a statement that he would like for someone black to own black entertainment television again, and that there was sadness in the black community concerning this, that when it was sold. And so now there's a possibility of it being able to be purchased. And, you have to wonder why then would there not be a sale? All right. And so I want to show you, though, somewhat of a shift that is happening. All right. And Byron Allen, because of the sale that BET, he could not purchase BET, or him and Tyler Perry could not purchase BET. Byron Allen, and like I said, everything that I talk about, I always talk about things that are online so that you can pull it for yourself. Byron Allen then makes a $10 billion bid to Disney for ABC. We'll pull that up. All right. And so he makes a $10 billion bid because Disney wants to sell off some of their assets. And so Byron Allen offers Disney $10 billion for ABC and cable TV channels. Now, because this BET situation and BET along with VH1, for those of you that are familiar, because that sale didn't go through, these gentlemen now are going after major networks. And the question is why? I believe one of the reasons why is because right now, I think that there is such a faith move. There is a Byron Allen right there. There is such a faith move of literally going after something that everybody else says that it's impossible. But nothing is impossible. In fact, Mark 9:23 says, all things are possible for him that believeth. And the scripture says, nothing with God, nothing is impossible. These men are going after what others are saying is impossible, and they're making things happen. And I believe that for each and every individual that is watching, this should be something that provokes you to go after your dreams and your promises, that you believe that God has made you, and go after the greatest of opportunities. Now, you're not going to do that being lazy, but definitely you can go after the greatest opportunities. You tell me, why do you feel that Paramount pulled back? And it's right there online that they decided that they're not going to sell, because now they felt like the value, this is what they said, they felt like the value of BET and VH1 and everything that is connected to it, they felt like the value was a little bit more, and as a result, they did not want to sell. However, they wanted $3 billion. Byron Allen definitely, in those articles, definitely said, hey, I got the $3 billion. They said, we don't want to sell to you. I believe of Byron Allen, I do believe, now I have no evidence of this, but I do believe that Byron Allen, as well as Tyler Perry, could have come to an agreement, definitely with P. Diddy. Remember when P. Diddy was trying to purchase the Panther franchise in North Carolina? I believe these men have the means to be able to come together to make it happen. And first of all, it's a blessing that they're able to do that. But now you have to ask the question, why? And you tell me why you feel possibly that Paramount, Viacom has pulled back from the offer because they were accepting bids, but now they've closed it and said, we decided we don't want to sell it. We just want to keep it. That is, and so take a look at this. This is from the Associated Press. Paramount decides it won't sell majority stake in BET Media Group. Source tells Associated Press. So it's right there. I need to ask you this question. Why do you feel this, that the deal fell apart? Especially when you have parties that is able to purchase it. They're able to purchase it. Why do you feel that it wasn't purchased? All right. And so I'm going to put some of these up here because I just want to read them. I'm asking people their opinion. I just want to know what your opinion is, because the thought here is a little bit concerning and questionable of why. I think that anytime you're selling something and you're selling something for $3 billion and you got a buyer to buy that for $3 billion, I think that's a good day. So let me take a look at here and let me see. Let's look at John Banks said that he feels that they pulled back out of fear of the influence that Tyler Perry has on the Black community by having this man with so much influence in Black culture owning BET. They don't want that. All right. So there are, Michelle Jenkins says, racial issues. It may be racial issues. And Cosmia says wrong color. And if Diddy had anything to do with it, his reputation preceded him. There is Shavandra said, too many Black men with the ability to purchase. And so tell me this, and here's my question. Do you think it is only a racial issue? Do you think it's only a racial issue? I don't know. But do you think it's only a racial issue? Because now already Tyler Perry owns 25% of it. All right. And so you need 51% in order to be a majority stakeholder. And obviously Paramount is a majority stakeholder. I have no idea. If it's not racial, then what is it? It is, Toya said they want control. And Maisha Dolman said, I'm sure they didn't expect to get a bid from the Black dollar. Joy says, I believe that they want to maintain the narrative of their elite agenda. It could be a lot of different things. But for those that have an issue with whoever is buying it, all right, whether it be Tyler Perry, P. Diddy, Byron Scott, regardless of what your issues are, you have to start looking at the fact of one thing. If you're selling your car right now and you're selling your car for $20,000, does it matter who buys the car? It shouldn't if the car is for sale. If then you're selling the car for $20,000, somebody comes for that $20,000, and then you decide you're going to sell it for $30,000. They come back and say, okay, I'll buy it from you for $30,000. Then you turn back around and say, I don't want to sell it. Is that really fair to the buyer for taking their time to pull all of this together? And then all of a sudden you snatch out of it because now you have discovered whatever value now. And they talked about value. Somebody said that talked about market value. Um, I struggle with this, guys. I really struggle with this because I believe that if you want to sell something and somebody has the ability to buy it, regardless of what color they are, regardless of what they believe, regardless of their background, all of that, if you're selling it and it's out there on the open market, sell it to whoever can afford it. All right, because the what we're talking about really is capitalism. A lot of people don't understand capitalism, so let's really talk about it. What is capitalism? Capitalism is goods and services that are traded. That's it. You have goods, you service it to people that want to purchase those particular goods, and then in turn you make a profit from that. That is capitalism. All right, and then the way capitalism works is simply this: is that you want to sell goods. The capitalism is not selling anything to the rich. Capitalism is selling everything to the average individual, their needs of goods and services, and then for a marketable rate, for an exceptional rate, and then you're making a small profit off of that, or sometimes a big profit off of that. That's what capitalism is, and it's something that this is how our nation is run. It is run by capitalism, and so now when you have capitalism that is moving, and I want to say this, I know some people are going to disagree with me, but the government, you don't want a lot of government controlling your personal life. I've said this in public before. I'll say it again. You really don't want a lot of government controlling your life. You want to be able to have options. I don't want you to tell me that I can only buy from this store. All right. I want to be able to buy from whatever store I choose to. If I don't want groceries from this particular store, I want groceries from this particular store. I want to be able to do that. If there is government control says you can only buy it from this particular store. I was just talking to a gentleman, and for anybody that is in Florida, maybe you can comment on this. But I was just talking to a gentleman that is from Florida. And one of the things that he told me, he says in Florida, and this is what he told me. He says in Florida, he says what you really don't have that much control when it comes to your insurance. He says because there is one major insurance company that is over all the insurance companies in Florida. So they pretty much tell you exactly what insurance company and your benefits connected to that insurance company. Well, to those Floridians that are there, I know that is challenging, because if in turn there's a problem in one area, then there's a problem in multiple areas. And that's not how capitalism works. And so if we're going to be effective, and it doesn't matter whether you're Black or you're white or you're Latino or you're Asian or Native American, and the list goes on. All right. If you're going to be effective in business, then in turn, you're going to have to know how to really market what you have, give it at a reasonable price to the mass amount of people. And as a result, this is what Walmart has done. As a result, you will be effective when it comes to business. Our time really moves very quickly in this 1 hour. But how many of you are in agreement? How many of you are in agreement with Tyler Perry, Sean Puffy Combs, or Byron Allen? How many of you are in agreement with them purchasing it? How many of you are in agreement, or how many of you are not in agreement with them purchasing it? Tell me what your views are, because see, the bottom line is that I'm not pushing Tyler Perry. I'm not pushing Sean Puffy Combs. I'm not pushing Paramount. I'm not pushing Byron Allen. But it is a question. It is a question. And the reason that it is a question to me is because when you deal with the little man, then if the same thing happens to you, and this is what I'm getting at, this is why I have these kind of podcasts. If the same thing happens to you, is it fair? Is it fair that you come up with the money to purchase something and a person says, then I don't want to sell it to you? Somebody else can come up and they'll sell it to them when it was publicized that the sale is the sale. That's the thing that I'm going after. I'm not pushing anybody. It's just the question. That's what I'm going after. that if you want to purchase something, if you go to the grocery store right now and you want to buy something, and they will not sell it to you, but they'll sell it to somebody else. The question is that fair? Is that fair? I don't care what race you are in. Is that fair? Is it fair? That's my question. And so I'm going to sit here and people are responding. Byron, Byron and Tyler, yes. Sean, not so much. That is from Johnny A.H. Shanice says, I'm not, but Tyler needs to have the same energy when they come to purchase from him. Okay. Then let's look at this. Connie said, maybe they are intimidated by the power the finance of these gentlemen represent. All right. Let's say Dio Phoenix says, no, it's not fair. I am Leticia says, no, it's not fair. Carletta said, if one has the means to buy something, it should be allowed. It is not fair to deny the sale. Dolores said it's not fair. Adrian says absolutely not fair. Quintinia says this, I'm in agreement for it because I feel like they need to revamp BET, and those names that was named will definitely revamp it. And so let's look at the fact. Joy said most times wickedness is not fair, and so just different thing. This podcast is about people having a voice to be able to say, you know what, this is my opinion, and no one should be criticized for their opinion. Nobody should be criticized for their view. Cheryl Reese said a joint venture between the three would be good. This is how business is done. I don't know if y'all remember when Elon Musk was going to buy Twitter. Even though he had all the money to buy Twitter, what did he do? He then did a joint venture agreement, and he started calling different friends who had the money and said, let's work together and buy it. And what happened? It was purchased. And there was a back and forth, but ultimately it was purchased. This is the same kind of situation. But Elon Musk ends up with Twitter, and these men don't end up with BET, and the sale is taken away. All right, so very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. I'm going to move from this, and I want to talk about something that has recently happened. Now, I live in North Carolina. I don't know where everybody's watching me from, but I live in Greensboro, North Carolina. And there's been some North Carolinians that doesn't even know what I'm getting ready to say. There has been some sightings of unidentified flying objects in North Carolina. In fact, just about 2 months ago, there was a UFO. It wasn't one UFO sighting. It was multiple UFO sightings. And what happened was, and I got something personal to tell y'all in just a second. What happened was that people started seeing these lights. The lights then started splitting. They were going in different directions. And then they were merging back together. Some were disappearing. Some were coming back in. Very interesting. This happened, and so you got some sightings in Winston-Salem. Now, I'm going to play a couple of videos and to give credit to whoever these videos are. Some of these videos have some interesting words in them. I'm hoping to be able to mute it, but because I just want you to see kind of the video. And then after I show you a couple of these, then I want to tell you something personal that happened to me last night after Bible study. So let's look at a couple of these videos and let's see exactly what's out here, because this is real interesting.
I know y'all see that, right? What is that? lights are going back together. What the heck? If that ain't a UFO, I don't know what is.
Now, what you're looking at right now is now this is coming. There's also another angle. There's some other people
What
that ended up
is
seeing
that?
UFOs as well. These unidentified flying objects. I'll talk about
I know
what's
y'all
happening
see that,
when it
right?
comes to Congress in just a second. There is another video that is out there, and I'll see if we can play that video as well. But you probably I have to mute because they end up saying some very interesting things there. But the thing is that right now, how many of y'all are in? If you're in North Carolina, how many of y'all did not know that this had happened? This happened about 2 months ago, and I know some people are like, I didn't know, but Winston-Salem literally was chattering. I have a good friend of mine. He's been my buddy for years. He's Jordanian, and he talked to me. He's the one that actually brought it to my attention, and told me about this chatter that was going on in Winston-Salem. And now here's the interesting thing. When they were watching, they were saying that it was over Greensboro, but they've got other videos, and if you pull it up, you'll find. If you pull up UFOs in Winston-Salem, you will find a lot of different videos just like this that transpired. Now, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to do this. Last night, I teach Bible study in High Point on every Monday night. I drive my route differently. And so I'm driving, and while I'm driving, talking to a buddy of mine, and I see a large light in the sky. I'm thinking that it's a plane, but then I'm noticing I see some planes and the lights blinking off and on, and I see this particular light in the sky. I really don't give it too much attention until this is me driving right now, and this is the light that I saw in the sky. That light ended up splitting into two different lights, and then one went one direction, the other went the other direction. They ended up coming back together. I was tripping. I was tripping. I mean, and I was trying. I had it out there, so I wasn't looking. I was looking at the road. I was hoping that I was capturing as much as I could. But what you're looking at right now is a light that I saw, and another light separates from it. The other light starts flying in one direction. This light stays stationary, and it goes sideways in a direction, comes back sideways. I was tripping last night. Yep, I was tripping last night. All right, so here's the deal. There is a lot of local sightings. I don't know if you realize that North Carolina is 16th in the nation of unidentified flying objects and their sightings. This year, we have we had a sighting in November 19th, 2022, May 16th, 2023. This sighting was in August. They had another sighting, and it was published by Roger Marsh in January 15th, 2023. You have a lot of different TikTok videos of sightings that is happening in North Carolina. I'm going to ask a question, and I know it's going to be interesting, but I'm very interested in seeing your response. How many people believe that you have ever seen a UFO? Now, I'm going to talk about Congress and UFOs in just a second, but how many people believe that you have seen one? And I want to put this up right here. I see I see that here it is. Renee McPherson said, I was 15. I saw a UFO at that age. I am now 71 years old, and I remember it just like it was yesterday. Let's look at somebody else, because we're going to talk about this in just a second. But I want to get the. I'll talk about what the government is saying and what transpired. Cochini said, yes, that happened to me, but it ended up looking like a cloud after it was creepy. And I could really talk about that. I really could, because it is a belief that there is cloud shapes around UFOs in order to camouflage. Let's deal with someone else. Tanisha Knowles says, I saw one in Greensboro in 2019. There are different people that have seen this. I don't know where you're from, where different people are from, but I will say this: if you believe that you've ever seen one, then put it up online, because this is very interesting. I see Yolanda said, I have in America and Northern Africa 40 years ago. All right, so let's look at that. Let's look at Felicia, who says, my husband and I saw two great images 2 years ago. Now, for those that have stated in the past that it was conspiracy and all of that, let's now talk about government, because some whistleblowers in government, and many of you all have seen it online, there was the House Oversight Committee held a hearing on UFOs, or what they're called UAPs, which is unidentified aerial phenomena. And former U.S. intelligence officials went on record to say there is a lot that's happening that people are not aware of. And I'll look at, there was a retired Navy commander, David Grush, said he is absolutely certain that the government is in possession of a UAP or a UFO. NPR, the writer is Vanessa Romo and Bill Chappelle. In July of 2023, stated and talked about these men and what they saw. Now, I don't know if you all have ever watched then that House Oversight Committee that talked about UFOs, but these men are career men. They are U.S. military. One is a commander, a Navy commander, and they had different ranks of influence and authority. And when you look at that, now you cannot ignore it. The United States government, for those of you all that are saying, I still don't believe it, I need you to look at something. The United States government has already admitted they exist. For years, they said they didn't. Now they're admitting they exist. But it's not just the United States government. Mexico is admitting they exist. Russia is admitting they exist. Almost every nation in the world now is coming public and admitting that they exist. Almost every nation in the world. You have pilots now that have their camera phones that are videoing all of these different kinds of experiences. All right. All right. In July 27, 2023, they said the U.S. recovered non-human biologics from the UAPs or UFOs from a crash site. Now, that is in NPR news on July 2023. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. I am so interested. I am so interested because direction that I'm going in is really going to be interesting to you. Um, Here it is. It says, I believe, so it is what it is. Says, I believe the government is doing this so one day they will say we are under attack and that will cause a lockdown, all planned to IMO. All right. Give me someone else. All right. Because I want to know what your perspective is and what you think. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. All right. Lord have mercy. We got about 18 minutes left. All right. And so one of the things that we have to look at, what about Area 51? They allegedly have some hidden there for years. That actually it was a conversation in this oversight committee of Area 51, and they are stating that the United States actually um, is in control and in possession of more than one of these craft. More than one of these craft. Um, let's give me someone else because this is a someone says here Dio Phoenix said I've always believed they exist. Let's look at this. Johnny said God had to have created this life form. Um, Papa said a ploy from the enemy is using to prepare us for the false Messiah, Satan, and all his imps. Cortina said they've been here. The government just kept it quiet and called the people crazy that believed that it was real. All of this now you can pull up and take a look. I would suggest that you watch then that House Oversight Committee, and you will find that the information and the detail. Now in this, let me tell you what they did. In this, they actually said in this that they were giving the political officials that were questioning them, they would give them the details of that, but they would not put it out there in the public. This is Juwan said, I believe other forms do exist. The questions are swarming more and more if NASA has truly ever gone to the moon. All of this is happening now. Now, I don't know if you are, I didn't get a video of this, but Johnny said there's stuff under the sea also that we don't know about. Yes, 90%, I think they said 90% of what's in the ocean, we don't know anything about. 90%. All right. So let me say something to you all. I don't know if you remember, if you've never seen this movie, this is an old movie. I'm not talking about it's an ancient movie, but it is an older movie. I think it's maybe about 10 years old, give or take, maybe 15 years old. But I don't know, maybe 10, maybe 5 years old. I don't know. There's a movie called The Fourth Kind. How many of you all ever saw that movie? How many of you, this is the first time you're hearing of that movie? The movie is called The Fourth Kind. If you've never seen the movie, you need to see the movie because the movie is taken from true events and they have the video of the true events. One of the things I like about the movie, and that is that they show the depiction of their remake, and then at the end of the movie, they show the actual footage of what took place and what happened. And so if you've never seen the movie called The Fourth Kind, you need to take a look at that movie. It will trip you out completely. And so I see now some people says I've never seen it. Some people say Barbara said yes, I've seen it. Vicky said I've never seen it. Keith said I've never heard of this movie. Mello said nothing more than demons. Erica said that's an old school movie. I am Leticia says I've never seen or heard of it. I'll check it out. Regina said I've not seen it. Keith said, I said, I'm going to watch it. Um, um, Klein sister said, never seen it. So this movie, you need to take a look at it. Now, let me tell you, at the very end of the movie, there is a Tanisha said, if it's scary, I haven't seen it. Carletta said, never seen it, but we'll look it up. All right. You have got to take a look at this movie. You've got to take a look at this movie. It's about, it's dealing with UAPs or UFOs. It's also dealing with UFO abductions and things like that. But here is the interesting thing. At the end of the movie, there is a police officer that has a dash cam, and he's going up to this house, and he is witnessing a UFO come over the house. He is freaking out completely. And because he jumps out of the car, he runs between the car and the house. And he is going through so many different changes. And so they showed this at the end of the movie. But then, like I said, this is what I like about this movie. Then what they did was they showed then the video of what he saw. Now, in the movie, there's a better video than what I'm getting ready to show you. This one, with this particular video, somebody pulled it. It was on YouTube. And so I give credit to, it was a subscription to Answers Unknown. And this is the police dash cam video of the abduction. And this is the police officer with his dash cam video and it playing. So take a look at this.
There's something. Oh, there's something. You're flying shit. Oh my God. Residents. It's killing the house. It's taking me. You gotta get somebody down there. You gotta send. Oh, shit. Oh my God. Oh God. Oh God.
He was responding to a call. You've got to see this movie. And they show a better video of this situation in the movie because they have the original video. So it shows more. And what it shows is this UAP or UFO over this house and pulling people out of the house. Now, tell me your thoughts. You saw it. I want to know your opinion. Tell me your thoughts. Because right now, and I'm going to merge this into something with scripture in just a second, but I want to hear your thoughts. Johnny said, that's crazy. Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And that was October 5th, 2000. I know some of y'all are like, what did I just see? Yeah. This is a unique subject matter that usually people don't want to tackle. Now, very soon, I'm going to do a Bible study on UFOs, aliens, things like that. Carletta says, no words. Connie Aiken said, wow. I am Leticia says, see, that's why I want me and my kids to stay strapped and learn to throw knives. and make sure they land. Barbara said, wow, I got to see this movie. Tiffany said, we didn't see anything. And how does something pull out of the house, like through the roof? Does it make sense? Exactly. Gail said, Father, please keep the extraterrestrial from my home in the name of Jesus. Now, let me tell you something that's really interesting. What has been found, because I've done a lot of research on a lot of different things, what has been found is that when it comes to all of these kind of things, when it comes to like people talking about abductions and things like that, all the people that talk about that are not saved. That is a very unique, I found that in my study. Now, you may find something different. There was a man that said he went to church, but there was no confirmation that he was saved. But most people, what from my research, no one saved that has a relationship with Jesus Christ this has ever happened to. They've seen things, they've seen UFOs, things like that, but an abduction or something like that, nobody's ever seen. It hasn't happened. All right. So now, let me then match it then to something in Scripture. Matthew 24. Matthew 24. All right. There we are. I got my old Bible here. I've got Matthew 24, verse 37, and it says, but as in the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying, giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. All right, so now the question is, when he says the days of Noah, so what is he really talking about? So now let's go to Genesis, the 6th chapter, and let's find out what he's talking about concerning the days of Noah. All right, so in Genesis 6, and this is a situation of right before the flood. So Genesis 6, let's start at the first verse. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, which means that there were more women that was being born during those years than men. The sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants on the earth in those days. And also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, they bare children of them. The same became mighty men, which were of old men of renown. So basically what they're saying is that when these children were born, they would not die. They just kept living for hundreds of years. All right. So, and God, this is the 5th verse, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And so then this says God repented that he made man. All right. So now, so the next question is, who is the sons of God? Well, according to Job, the 1st chapter, the 6th through the 12th verse, the sons of God were actually angels. All right. But let's look at something else. Let's look at Jude, the 1st chapter, the 6th and the 7th verse. All right. Jude, the 1st chapter. Actually, Jude only has 1 chapter. We say the 1st chapter anyway, but those who don't know that. All right. So watch this. Jude, the 1st chapter, the 6th verse says, and the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. Watch this. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Now, wait a minute. Let's put that together for a second. Now, he's talking about angels that left their first estate. Then he brings in Sodom and Gomorrah, but he's talking about going after strange flesh. So really, what is it talking about? And somebody said the Nephilim. There must be the Nephilim. I'm telling you all right now that the scripture says that as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it also be. So my question to you is this. Are the aliens connected to Genesis 6 chapter, Jude 1, 6 and 7, Matthew 24, verse 37 through 39? Now I know somebody's going to make this statement. And the statement they're going to make is that according to Matthew, the 22nd chapter, 30th verse, angels do not marry, because Jesus said angels do not marry. Angels do not marry. But why did the Lord punish these particular angels? Because they violated something that they were not supposed to do. Uh-oh. Let's look at something else, guys. Let's look at something else. Hebrews, the 13th chapter, 1st and 2nd verse. Watch this. Let brotherly love continue, but not forgetting to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware. So now what is it talking about? It's talking about angels that are shapeshifters. Wow. So you can actually be dealing with an angel thinking that it's a person, and so it could be entertaining an angel unaware. So so here is my question. Because I hit some by mistake. There you go. All right. So here is my question, guys. If the world is getting comfortable with UFOs and aliens, is scripture now addressing and merging all of this together? Now it's at the end of my time. I wish I had more time, because I know you got a lot of questions, but this is what I want to do. If you have a question, and I don't mind addressing it the next time I come on, and I may come on later. If I have enough questions, I may come on later this week and just go ahead and just have an answer session of all of your questions. But I'm going to give you an email address that you can send all of your correspondence to. If you could send it to megabossnews777@gmail.com. If you put that out there, if you go ahead and put your question, you can just send all of your questions there. If you want me to cover a particular topic, put it there. If you have, let's say that when I did the story in Maui, let's say that you lived in Maui and you're saying, you know what, I live in Maui and this is what's happening. I get video footage of that. You could send that there. My team then will go through that, take a look at it, and then we'll put it up on the podcast. And on top of that, we'll definitely give whoever sends it, put your proper name there. We're going to give you credit on there because all of this is about us just learning and being able to share information. I pray today was beneficial for you. I'm going to ask each and every one of you to support this podcast right now. And right now, up under, you can see how you can support this podcast, and whatever gift you would like to give, a financial gift that you would like to give, then you can give that particular gift. But as you see, I'm trying to mature and grow into all of this. And I've got a small team that is helping me to make this happen. And so I appreciate them as well. And so whatever questions you have, things that I may end up missing it. I may end up missing it on the chat. But if you put it in an email, I'll make sure that I get it. And so if you see anything that is if you see anything that is of interest to you, or there is a video that you want me to address or something like that, or there's a topic that you want me to address because you don't understand something, you could put it all in there. And what I'll do is I'll make that a part of one of my podcasts. All right. And so right now, please make sure everybody subscribe, share, like, follow. I need everybody to do that right now. Send this to as many people as possible. as well as I would ask you to support our Megaboss News podcast. All right. So blessings to each and every one of you. I am past my time, but I pray that this has been informative, and I pray that it's been interesting to you and just to make you think. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful. Somebody said, what's the email address again? It's right there online. megabossnews777@gmail.com. You can send all of that correspondence right there, and we got you. Thank you so much for your time, and have a phenomenal and a blessed day. God bless.